Well, Germany's far-right Alternative for Germany party is holding a convention this weekend to decide what their program will be for national elections this September. The AfD's 600 delegates are meeting in person in the city of Dresden, despite high numbers of coronavirus cases here in Germany. And protests are taking place outside the conference. The party's anti-Islam, anti-immigrant stance, as well as its criticism of measures to fight the pandemic, have courted controversy. And the gathering is expected to be the scene of a bitter debate between its extreme right faction and its more conservative right-wing powers.
Germany will hold a federal election later this year, and Jörg Meuthen is planning an aggressive campaign for the AfD party, which he co-chairs. The far-right party's platform will include calls for the deportation of hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers and for severe restrictions to be imposed on immigration. It will also suggest that Germany should follow the British example and leave the EU as well as the eurozone. The AfD also wants to score points with critics of Germany's coronavirus policy. With their stance against compulsory mask wearing and lockdown measures, the AfD hopes to remain relevant to the tens of thousands of protesters in Germany. On this, the party is unified. But the AfD's co-leader is under attack from other top party figures, above all from Thuringia's Björn Höcke. He led the party's extreme right wing, which was put under intelligence surveillance for its stances. Meuthen had sharply criticized the radical wing at last year's party congress to keep the AfD from veering too far right and potentially losing votes. Is it really wise to speak of a coronavirus dictatorship? We don't live in a dictatorship. If we did, we could hardly hold this party congress today. The internal struggle could also affect this weekend's party conference. According to media reports, influential functionaries are making moves to remove Meuthen from the party leadership.
And I'm joined now by our political correspondent, Simon Young, who is reporting from the party convention in Dresden. Simon, as we heard, the AfD is finalizing its strategy going into this September's elections. What issues are dominating the convention this year?
Yeah, the main thing that the Alternative for Germany wants to do here this weekend is to launch its election campaign program. They've launched that last night under a slogan, Germany but normal. It's their vision of what normality should mean in Germany. They say they want to get back to normality. It includes things like ditching the euro, reintroducing compulsory military service, banning minarets. There's a lot of emphasis on traditional family models and so on. So there'll be discussion about that outside the party Congress Hall here, I'm sure, about whether that really is what normal should mean in Germany. But these discussions here about the content of their election program, I think, are overshadowed, as the report said, by a rift in the party about which is the real direction they want to go in. Do they want to drift more to the right and push that envelope of right-wing rhetoric even further, as some have wanted to do, or do they want to get back somehow more into the middle of German politics? And we're seeing that played out here. But the more moderate leader mentioned there, Jörg Meuthen of the AfD, he will stay in the job, it seems. But that's only one of a few battles that are being played out here.
Now, Simon, AfD members have been active in anti-coronavirus demonstrations, and the party has links to radical coronavirus deniers. How has the pandemic been featuring in their platform?
Well, yes, there have been those links, and we've seen senior AfD politicians talking about the government creating panic and saying that corona is, less dangerous than the flu. They try to play on those fears, emphasising the idea that they are standing up for people's civil liberties and freedoms against a government that wants to somehow close those things down. So they've talked a lot about that. They criticised the government for changing its mind on its policy. But they themselves have been a bit confused about corona. They certainly want to push back against things like any idea of, for instance, requiring people to have vaccinations or to carry vaccine passports.
We're going to have to leave it there. Simon Young reporting for us from Dresden. Thank you so much.